Hey, what's going on, everybody? Navid is here. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur and creator of Virtual Summit Mastery, and we help people just like you exponentially grow your email list, influence, and revenue. And for this session, we are going to talk about how to build and grow your email list using Facebook groups. And I have probably one of the world's foremost experts when it comes to this, Arne Giske. I have him on board here. And he's helped a lot of people, I think in the thousands, to generate over 1 million leads from their Facebook groups. And he has also a great software called Group Funnels. And you can kind of see how you can leverage some of that, some great strategies to kind of promote your group initially to get some members, and then what you can do there to actually build that email list up from the group. Because just having a group, that's kind of what Facebook, they own that, they can shut it down whenever they want. But if you get them onto your email list, it's going to be a lot more valuable. You can make a lot more money. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people make these mistakes. I have seen huge groups, and they don't even collect emails that often. But I know Arne has his, pretty massive group, the millionaire entrepreneur community. That's like, I think 70, 80,000 members now. That's like been blowing up there. So I'm sure he can share a little bit around that as well. But with that being said, warm welcome, Arne.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Super excited to be here and dive into this, show you guys how to tap into hands down one of the best organic lead gen opportunities. Cool thing about groups especially is when you set it up right, when it's engaging, it grows on its own, and then you can grab their emails as they join. So if you guys aren't doing this, no worries. We'll show you how in just a minute.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned like all these the 1 million or one, I think it was 1.2 million leads, probably growing as we speak here. But
Yeah.
you really like that's on kind of autopilot. If you implement some of the strategies we're gonna share here, you're gonna see kind of how group funnels can obviously help with that. But then really that's organically, right? It's not really paying for ads and stuff like that, which you obviously can amplify with. But this is like organic organic growth of your group, and also your list grows as well. So that's kind of some strategy we'll get into. But first, maybe tell us kind of how you got into this. I mean, you have built a pretty big group now. Was it always like this for you to have this massive group, this following that you have now?
Yeah, so when I got started with groups, I actually had 4 failed ones before taking this 5th one to over 75,000 members. And I always knew that, like, when I was getting into the online business space, I saw so many different people having these communities, whether it was Facebook or somewhere else, and I saw that the power in that, in getting relevant, like-minded people together and showing up as not only the community leader but the industry leader that's able to offer them products and services to get them where they want to go. So I kept seeing all these people doing it, and I was like, well, that seems like the way to go. All right, let's get it going. So I tried a few different groups, and in those first 4 failed ones, I learned big lessons on each of them on why they weren't working. Number one was not being consistent enough. So only popping in every now and then, and really not showing up for people. Number two was putting out too many links. I had a group for business bloggers, and all I did was post my blog links in the group instead of putting content straight in the group. So I learned what not to do on that one. And then another one, I pretty much only created the group to promote one specific product. So I was very product focused, not audience focused. So I was being selfish, and nobody was showing up, nobody was engaging. And then another one, I just kind of ran out of stuff to say. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't have any direction. So it just totally fizzled out and died off. And then the 5th one, it took me a little while to get it going. But then that's when I really started to understand, how can I create a community that people want to be a part of every single day, that they find valuable, that they find funny, that they find great connections and great business opportunities in. And then how can I flip that upside down and create that environment for people? And once I really started providing that experience and providing the value for people, it started growing like crazy on its own. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 20,000, 50,000, now over 75,000 in just the last couple of years. So when you really listen to your audience and provide what they're looking for, it just makes it so much easier. Make it fun too, because like there's too many people that think Facebook groups are all about just posting tips and value and tutorials and trainings and all this crap. But it's really about creating an experience where they want to show up in the group every day, whether or not they're looking for an exact tip. They want to be there for the community. So always think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's some great. Just right there in the kind of introduction here, like there's some great tips because you made some mistakes and then took that next. I mean, the group you have now. I think you're doing also some kind of niche groups. I'm sure we can get into that a little bit, the power of that, because I know your group now, the big group you have, is pretty broad, right? So you want to speak to that a little bit, like how you even picked that in the first place, like why did you choose that, and would you do the same if you would start all over today?
Yeah, so absolutely not. So about 3 years ago, when I started this group, Millennial Entrepreneur Community, that's when there weren't as many Facebook groups for business out there. It wasn't as crowded. There was just so much more engagement and attention and stuff going on in groups without everybody and their mom having their own group, right? So I was able to really, ride that wave of people jumping in to try and figure this stuff out and creating a community that was a little bit more general. So yes, it went bigger, but the challenge in that is it's not super niche. We got people doing all kinds of stuff. So I actually did just start a brand new group pretty recently. It's called Coaches and Course Creators: Tribe Building and Marketing Secrets. And that is, who I'm best at helping is these coaches and course creators to build and monetize their audience. So we actually started a new group and it's just about to open. So super excited for that one. But the whole reason I restarted from zero in a new group was to get that niche, to get that relevance, to get that focused audience. Because if it doesn't matter if you have a million group members, but if they're not targeted, showing up, paying attention, buying, that's not so helpful. So I wanted to kind of have a fresh slate and start off a new collaboration with another buddy of mine who teaches on some similar stuff too.
Awesome. And can you just briefly, we're not gonna make the whole session about this, but like briefly, how did you pick that kind of name for the new group? I think that's quite important, right? I mean, do you kind of keyword optimize? What do you do these days to kind of make sure you can have this organic growth of your group and getting more members without actually actively promoting it everywhere?
Yeah, so hands down, the best way to grow your group organically is to be audience focused because you got to think about how people use Facebook. So they're scrolling, they're scrolling, they're scrolling, and then they'll see a little box that pops up says suggested groups. And if my group name was like Arnie's Awesome Hangout Club for coaches or something like that, people read the first three words. Sometimes it's actually cut off in the Facebook interface of the entire group name. So if you see three suggested groups and you only see the first three words of each group and you see Arnie's Awesome Hangout, like I don't even know what that is. Who's Arnie? What's awesome about him? I'm not going to click that,
Right.
So in the first three words are extremely important. That's where you want to have one of two things, ideally both, where it's identity or keywords. So if somebody identifies as a millennial entrepreneur, they're going to click on my group. If somebody identifies as a coach or a course creator, they're going to click on that group. If somebody identifies as, Amazon FBA seller, whatever, they're going to click on that group. But if you have your group name that's really vague, not on point with what you talk about, what you offer, what goes on in that community, you're going to get really random people and you're going to get less volume of people clicking on that when they come across it in the suggested. So highly recommend focusing on those first three words to be identity or keyword heavy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen some kind of you have done that obviously, and some other people do it as well. But I also see people who use their names. Maybe it works better if you're like already an established brand to have like use that as the kind of the driver. But for most people, I guess that's not the case. So then you obviously gonna implement some of this. But I think I've also seen some big groups. Maybe you can get into a little bit the misconceptions as well because there's a lot of benefits of doing it, but I've seen also some big names kind of closing down because they take a lot of time to manage. Do you want to speak to that a little bit? Like maybe some, why should anyone have a group, or is it just kind of for some people? Because I've seen some people close down recently, kind of big, 70,000 member groups because they got hard to manage and maybe they weren't in the direction they were going and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. With any business owner, you have to really take inventory of where you're putting your time and your energy. And like when I first got started, I was trying to be everywhere on all these different social platforms. I had a podcast, I had Instagram, I had all this crap flying around, and I was doing all of them half-ass, and I wasn't really getting great results on any of them. So I made the decision to really step back and focus just more on the group until I had the time, the team, and resources to expand. And now we do more stuff on Twitter, LinkedIn, podcasts, YouTube, media features, and of course the group and that kind of thing. But what really happens is people don't understand how to create a strong environment and community that engages on its own, that is well moderated, that has a good content strategy, that is still driving sales. So if you go too long with a bad content strategy, with a bad community, the engagement drops and drops and drops, and people get more used to showing up in the more fun groups. So over time, when they neglect it, it just nosedives. And if something is nosediving and not giving you an ROI, you're going to be a lot more likely to cut it. And that's what happens with a lot of these big or even small groups when they get neglected. So the best way to protect against that is to come in strong with a content strategy where you can be consistent, but also low impact on yourself. So that can mean things like hiring a social media manager. That can mean things like batching out your content. That can mean things like really knowing what you want to show up for, and practicing writing your content and publishing your content quickly. Like most of my posts will take less than 2 minutes to write. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And they don't have to be like fine-tuned and edited like a blog post or something like that. You just want to get it up, get it going, and spark some discussion. So if you can do that, you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're also gonna we'll get into some of this, kind of how this fits in with the list building. But first, like if you start a new group, obviously you have kind of 0 members. What should you do to even get some members so you can promote your lead magnets and all that kind of good stuff, and have actually a content schedule to post and have some members to serve?
Yeah. So when starting off a group, or whenever you want to grow a group, really, what we look at first is leveraging your other channels. So this can be your friends list, your podcast, your email list, whatever it is. And you want to go fishing, is what I call it. We put out bait posts. So when you go fishing, you got to use the right bait to get the right type of fish. And it's the same thing with marketing, where you want to put out the right type of content to invite people to jump into your group. So I've been doing this a bunch recently with that newer group, and making so I actually use a strategy. And this is especially perfect if you are still trying to grow your first group. I call it the 50 by 1 strategy, where every day what you want to do is go into a niche Facebook group that's similar to yours, and find people that are actively engaging, liking, commenting, all that kind of stuff. Add 50 of them a day, and then on that same day, make one post to advertise your group. So if you do this for even a week straight, you'll get your first couple hundred members. If you do that for a month straight, you could even get 1,000 members. And by then, you're going to be speeding up the organic growth. You're going to be speeding up how Facebook promotes you, and just getting everybody in the door. So the best way is to take people who are in your existing audiences on other platforms, and then give them a reason to come to this new platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've done actually when I have done kind of specific promotions. I had a group before. Actually, that's something I want to get into a little bit later, like how to get the group going again if you have like a little passive group and you haven't done too much with it. But I had a group, and usually what I did, I didn't really promote that group. It was mostly for, when I did a launch or something or promotion, then I used that group. You've probably seen some people do these kind of workshop groups, and that's kind of what I did. So people opted into my email list. Then in the emails, that kind of, when I promoted it, it was also kind of on the thank you page or something like this. So kind of like putting it everywhere. I've also seen, I'm sure you might do this as well, on kind of your website. You can put kind of, hey, join my Facebook group. I mean, that's kind of, if it's open to everyone. Is that kind of what you do? So anyone can join the group, whatever, right? Or so I've seen also some people do it more exclusive. What's kind of the best way you think? Is that like to let anyone in, or how do you kind of moderate this?
I think the best way for getting the higher quality members is number one, advertising the link in a lot of places, but understanding that whatever you put right before that link will drive the quality. So if I made a post and said, hey, who's a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur that wants to learn some scaling strategies or something like that, join my group. Cool. But if I put out a post that said, hey, who wants to learn how to make $1,000 a month from affiliate marketing, even if you have no experience, and I put the same link, that's a very different type of person, So whatever you attach to that message that's advertising the group is going to dictate the quality of the type of person that you're attracting. So be very, very careful about your top level messaging. That is your advertisements and posts for your group and your group name. Another way I do this is when we are running Facebook ads and things like that for myself and clients, is we'll actually send people straight to a chatbot. So from the chatbot, they're opting to get a lead magnet. And then once they say, yes, I want the lead magnet, then we say, okay, cool. What's your email? And then now we have them on a chat bot. We have their email address and we send them a lead magnet over there. And then right after that, we invite them to the Facebook group. So there's your little bonus strategy, how to grow a Facebook group, email list, and chatbot list with Facebook ads.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. I mean, I've seen these bait posts. How often do you think they work to do in groups? Like, can they be overdone as well? I mean, I see you do it. I see some other people have done it as well before, and you can obviously get a lot of comments there, and then obviously deliver that kind of whatever you offered. But is there overdone, you think, or is anything you should think about around this?
Yeah, it could definitely be overdone. And the main thing to think of here is what is the mix of your content strategy? Because if it's just, comment here, post, if it's just memes, if it's just tips, it's going to be boring. So you have to differentiate it and stagger the different types of posts that you do, images, videos, all this stuff, and really figure out, what are some good baseline strategies that you can use consistently, and what is stuff you want to do from time to time. So for example, some of my baseline strategies is number one, we do a welcome post every day for the new members. My group moderator, he makes like a funny picture every day for it, and then he tags all the new members. We also do engagement question every day, something that's kind of like on topic of entrepreneurship, all the different things that we have going on in the group. And we also try and do like a funny picture every other day, some kind of related business meme or something. And then every other day, we also do a testimonial post or video. So I am consistently putting out stuff to get people, liking, commenting, having a discussion, consistently, having a good experience, laughing at the funny pictures, but also consistently seeing that, hey, I'm not just an entertainer here. I have products and services that are really helping people, and we're dropping testimonials every other day. So that's kind of like my baseline strategy. And then on top of that, that's where we do special things like interviews, live streams, other posts, sharing articles, and just really mixing it up. So you can't just do one type.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend mixing it up.
Yeah, I mean, if you came into a group, just kind of, if you're watching, listening to this, and you're kind of thinking about the experience you want, if you came into a group and they only like, let's say, doing a bait post, all of that can be valuable, or just promoting your lead magnet with links or whatever, or only promoting your blog post, kind of getting kind of monotone, kind of getting kind of boring as well to be in there and just kind of promoting, but actually doing something within the group, right? That's kind of what you're doing with live streams, and you bring in, some fun things, right? Also, I've seen you post other things in your group as well, where you kind of try to get some kind of reaction or kind of comments from people as well. So they kind of start a discussion, and also other people start discussions. So, I mean, that's kind of the initial thing. Should you have that full content strategy kind of dialed in when you start, or kind of what does it look like for you now? Obviously, you have a team now, but when you started, how did you kind of define that, to kind of plan that out, to not get overwhelmed like so many other kind of group owners I've seen who doesn't follow some of these strategies do? So how do you do it the right way here?
Yeah, so when I got started and I hit my first 1,000 members, that was when I really started to have that epiphany of like, okay, I'm onto something. I have 1,000 people in one place that, listen to me from time to time. This is powerful. I can do something here, and I really want to support them. So the first things I started to do was polls on what they wanted. I threw out a few topics that I knew some things about that I could teach on. And I had people vote. So they vote and say, yes, I want to learn about X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. That's what I'll make, this week's live stream about. And I also was extremely consistent, where I did a question of the day and a tip of the day every single day. And the coolest thing about that is you can schedule those out well in advance. Like, I think we have about 30 or 45 days worth of question of the day and tip of the day scheduled out right now in my group. And that's something you can kind of sit down and jam out for, an hour or two, and have like a whole month's worth of stuff, and just pop it in Facebook native scheduler, set your times, and let it rock. And it's really cool to, go about your day, you handle your business, do your thing, and know that you're consistently getting engagement and people finding your stuff valuable. And then you can pop back in to do the other things like the live streams or the comment posts, and take it to that next level.
Yeah, something I've also, I mean, you mentioned the native scheduler there. Some people, they always want the latest and greatest tool, right? But in here, I mean, I think Facebook doesn't even favor if you use another thing. I think there you can use other schedulers, right? But it's not as powerful. Is that kind of why you use the native one?
Yeah, so I use a mix of the native scheduler and Agora Pulse. So
Okay,
we use Agora Pulse because that's what my social media manager uses. So he can post
nice.
as me without it, popping up in the Facebook group as his name
Yeah,
or from a business page. So
yeah,
we use that a lot for the group. But yeah, they don't like the third party scheduling tools as much because a lot of times people just over spam and that kind of thing, and they want people to be present on Facebook. So
yeah.
if you can avoid it, do the native scheduler. But if you have somebody else like a social media manager using it, you can get the scheduling tools like Buffer, Agora Pulse, things like that.
Yeah, awesome. And should you connect your group to a page, or should you just do it as kind of your personal, kind of with your profile on Facebook? What's the best way to get the most engagement?
Yeah, definitely recommend not linking your business page to your group. So what happened, I saw they introduced that feature a little over a year ago, and I didn't trust it, right? So before that, they had, Facebook owns Instagram, and they introduced the option of Instagram business profiles. So as soon as they did that, a bunch of people said, ooh, shiny analytics and buttons and features and all this stuff. And they switched it over to a business profile. And then following that, they saw their organic reach dramatically drop, and now they have to pay for more ads to reach the same amount of people. So I saw when they offered the opportunity to link your page with your group, I was like, nope, they're doing the same thing. They're going to slowly decline the reach of these groups, especially if a business is running it. So one of the telltale
Yeah,
signs of knowing that a business runs a group is if they link a page. So
yeah.
when a lot of people I know started linking their pages to their groups, they saw a significant drop in organic reach, organic growth, and things just kind of slowed down. So I recommend not linking the page.
Interesting, and that's very interesting because I see most people actually do link their pages, but then maybe they haven't tested this. They kind of just kind of accepted that the drop. I mean, it dropped a lot, but I've actually seen this.
Mm-hmm.
I used kind of I think my business page in one group, and I saw it kind of declined. And I think I saw also a post from you when you said somewhere that you shouldn't do that. So I kind of
Yeah.
immediately kind of and didn't link it. I kind of removed it, and then it went up a little bit. But another thing that I see you do a lot is like you create. I mean, you obviously create all this kind of free content in your group, but how often do you create kind of new kind of lead magnets? Do you always keep the same, or what's kind of a good mix there to kind of have different offers? I mean, do you promote only your own? Do you have also kind of sometimes affiliate offers do you push? What's kind of the good balance there on how much kind of new stuff you should create behind an opt-in as well?
Yeah, so the best thing you can do, especially when this ties back in with your marketing and your offers and your funnels, is have one core entry point. So one of the best moves I did earlier on was I created a group growth guide, super jam packed, valuable. Told my story, showed how I built the group up, and a lot of the core strategies I used. And I used that lead magnet for 2 years straight, and I probably edited it like 3 or 4 times just to change statistics and stories and the call to action and all that kind of stuff. But when you have a really, really good lead magnet that is very highly targeted to your audience, you don't need to go and create a whole bunch of new ones. And people get the shiny object syndrome. Oh, I'm going to create this new funnel, this new lead magnet, this new webinar, whatever, without having one really, really good one that everybody in their target audience wants. So if you can have that and then over deliver on value, do that. That's awesome. I do rotate promotions for offers, and we have a few different things from our training programs to our software and our services and things like that. So we switch those up, and I also have a couple of partner clients that I work with, and I
Nice.
promote their stuff out too. Where that's typically more on promoting lead magnets, bringing them on for
Yeah.
live streams and interviews, and doing the comment ladder posts for stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely good to mix it up because you never know. Like people in your audience, you might have an amazing offer that's doing great, getting a lot of sales, but you just haven't tapped into another segment of your own audience. And if you try, a different offer, you might be able to get a lot of those people on board too.
Yeah, I mean, this is important. I mean, if you have a good lead magnet, stick to that. But again, it comes down to the offer. I wanted to get to that a little bit because obviously, if you just have a lead magnet and don't do anything with it, you're not gonna make sales, right? So you're not gonna have this kind of sales funnel. I talked about that a lot as well, in kind of on my blog, I mean, summits and videos and stuff like that in my email list. And it's so important. Like I know, like when people sign up to something of yours, Arne, they're actually getting into probably a sequence of some kind, and then maybe a webinar or
Mhm.
whatever you have, and selling kind of your program or group funnels or whatever kind of funnel they're getting into. So how did you come up with, I guess, that? Because when you started the group, I don't think you had even a program or anything, right? You didn't even have the software,
Nope.
stuff like that. So you had to kind of build that up. So how did did you survey that group, or how did you come up with actually they told you what to create essentially, so you didn't waste all this time as well when you did that?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys the $1 million Facebook post that started it all. When I got up to about 3,000 or 5,000 members or so, people kept asking me, like, Arnie, what are you doing in this group? How is it growing so fast? Why is everybody so engaged? My group sucks. Nothing is happening. Like, dude, what's your secret weapon? So they just kept asking me over and over again how to grow. And so I put out a post and I said, if I put out a training showing you guys how I grew my group to 5,000 members, would you want to check it out? So I'm gonna say that one more time so you guys can write that down and copy it. If I put out a training on how I blank, and then you have to have a quantitative result, throw some stats in there to make it really stand out. How I grew my group to 5,000 members, would you want to check it out? And you can also add, leave a comment, something like that. And I made that post, and that one got like 200, 300 comments within the first day or two. So I was like, wow, okay, cool. There's a huge demand for this. People really want it. So if I made that post and I got, 5, 10, 15 comments, it'd be like, nah, I'm probably not going to pursue creating education or an offer around this. But because it had such a huge response, I knew that I could confidently move forward in creating some kind of a lead magnet offer course around that. So that's exactly what I did. And, I launched it at a $37 price point with just a couple of lessons. And then I built on it and I raised the price. I built on it and I raised the price, 97, 297, 497, all the way up to 997, and had a ton of launches throughout all that. So that all started with that initial validation post. So guys, go make those validation posts, get that good feedback. And if you don't get a good response, change your wording, try it again.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. It seems it's a little bit similar to kind of my story, but with virtual summits. I actually started also very low because my audience, they told me, hey, I want to know your strategy for doing kind of successful virtual summits, how to grow your list and all this kind of stuff with it, like I've done. And then basically I started kind of low. I started like I think 97, and then now it's all the way up to 2,000 because now it's more of an implementation program, and we even have a coaching version for it a lot more. So you can start kind of small and then kind of scale from there. It's pretty interesting how it works. Like the more value you add, the more case studies. Kind of you need to obviously proof at some point. Initially, you have kind of your own story. I mean, I don't know if you help people privately as well before you put out that program, or did you just kind of have your own results and people kind of saw that they were inspired by your results and then you put out the training, or did you have any clients at that time as well?
Yeah, no. So for that one, I pretty much had kind of like as soon as I saw all that interest building up, I decided to do a beta program. And then I brought in about a dozen people and started training them up and helping them get results. And then while that beta was happening, I was continuously pre-launching the fact that there was going to be an actual paid training coming soon. So by the time it dropped, everybody signed up, and it was just such
Awesome.
a no-brainer price point that
Yeah.
just started the flow.
I'm sure these people who bought early, they're pretty happy, right? They got
Oh
in very
yeah,
early, and now it's a lot better.
yeah.
But something I wanted to talk about a little bit personal as well, because I mean, I have a group. I'm sure many other people might have a group. They haven't really done much with it. Maybe they haven't been consistent with it, or maybe they haven't been focusing on other things. Should they start a new group and simply kind of abandon the other one and just kind of start from scratch because it's not engaged the other one, or what do you think is the best way? I know you have some good tips on this for sure.
Yeah. So actually, it's funny. I did another pop-up offer off the back of one of those validation posts. So
Yeah.
I kept seeing people ask, "How do I revive a dead group?" And I kept seeing that question. So I was like, "Hey, if I put out a training on how to revive a dead group, would
Yeah.
you guys want it?" And once again, it got like 200 comments. So I was like, okay, cool. And I popped up just like a little $97 training on this called Group Revival Masterclass. And it shows a lot of what it takes to, decide whether or not you want to revive it or start a new one. And my biggest tips for you there would be, is the audience relevant? So a lot of the biggest reason why people abandon a group is because they collected the wrong people. So if you have a too general of an audience, they're not responsive, they don't have similar goals, desires, problems, challenges, it doesn't matter how much effort you put into try and revive it, it's not the right people. So if you have the wrong people, if you've changed your target market, changed your branding, I definitely recommend starting a new group. But if it's the right people and you have, a good amount of people in there, and you know that if you reactivated it, that could get you the engagement, the growth, the clients that you're looking for, awesome, go for it.
Yeah, that's great tips. So I mean, that kind of answers kind of what I'm looking to do, because I have the right audience in there. Is I haven't done anything with it. It's just also the way I position it. It was kind of only when I did like these workshops or these kind of master classes for Virtual Summit Mastery, right? I used that group, but I think what I wanted to do rather is to have kind of one group for my business, not just kind of for specific, because we do other things than just summits. We do, like my program for virtual summits. We also do, we talk about different online marketing strategies, right? And different kind of ways to grow the audience. So my idea is to kind of change the name in that case for that one. Is that something you've seen kind of people successfully do, or something you would recommend as well? That because obviously not too many people might search for kind of virtual summit in Facebook, for a group on that, but they might search for other things related to online marketing, entrepreneurship, and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I was interested in potentially changing that and still use that for all the different summits we are doing. If I promote Virtual Summit Mastery, so gonna have themes in that group, right? To promote, so I have different things. So if I do a virtual summit on list building, I might have like list building month or something like this. I mean, something like this. That's kind of my idea now. I don't know. Wanted your take on this a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So when you're looking at the name too, you want to think of the audience. So like who is doing virtual summits? What is the standard avatar of somebody doing that? Where like in my group name, for the new one, it's coaches and course creators, try building and marketing secrets. We don't mention Facebook groups at all. We don't mention growing your group, monetizing your group, any of that. But anybody who is a coach or course creator and wants to build a tribe and learn how to market better is going to be able to benefit from growing groups. So when we're more audience focused like that, we can pull people in based on their identity and then move them to our vehicle, our opportunity. Yeah. So I think for you, probably look at like some of those identity keywords of who is hosting summits. And then add in somewhere in the title, you can add virtual summits too, virtual summit training, virtual summit experts, whatever you want to say in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because I mean, it's pretty similar, obviously, the audience, because we have, a lot of people doing it in, a wide variety of niches, but it's mostly like people interested in kind of the people who would follow, like, let's say Russell Brunson for sales funnels, marketing and stuff like that would also be, a good fit to do a summit to kind of blow up their email list and all this kind of stuff. So I'm kind of thinking of going more in that direction, right? Because I've also seen, like, if you do just kind of one thing, then it's kind of hard to kind of do other things, right? If it's just for summit. So I think that's kind of, but not going too broad like you did for your first group. I think that's kind of where I wouldn't do just for entrepreneurship or online marketing, maybe something a little bit more specific. I think that's going to be pretty good to kind of constantly kind of promote things, come up with a content strategy like we talked about here. So do you think that's kind of
absolutely
that's a good way forward to kind of promote my different offers in?
Definitely. Yeah, you're in the right spot.
Awesome, man. I think anyone else who has a group here, you should do something similar, obviously. And actually what I wanted to get to a little bit is to, kind of recap a little bit what we talk about in terms of kind of the list building strategies. I think, just having the questions is you kind of walk people through, right? And it would just, that's kind of an untapped thing. I don't think a lot of people are even doing some of this, just asking like for their email, maybe what their single biggest struggle is when it comes to this, right? When they sign up. I think the other thing is kind of having you said a pinned post, right? Is that kind of, is there a strategy for the pinned post as well? So you just kind of have your different offers there. Do you want to walk people through that briefly as well?
Yeah, so the pinned post, think of it as your website about me page. A lot of people just say, hey, welcome to the group. Don't spam. This is for networking and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm Arne and welcome and say hi. And that doesn't mean anything. That carries no weight. it looks like every other welcome post to a group. You know what I'm saying? So what you want to do is use it as your about me page, because a lot of times this is your first impression to a new member who knows nothing about you. So you really want to make it packed with credibility. You really want to make it packed with a hook. So like on mine, I say something like, hey, you know, I grew this group to over 75,000. I've helped Facebook group owners generate over 1.2 million leads. I've generated 7 figures while doing all this and trained over 25,000 people. If you want, you know, to dive deeper, check out my free Facebook group tips here, that kind of thing. And then I talk more about the community and, you know, what goes on in the group, what we want people to do, what we don't want people to do. And then at the bottom, again, I remind them, say, hey, you know, we're super excited to have you here. And if you want to keep growing your group too, click here and get this free tips. So we want to stack it full of that credibility. Also set expectations for the group, differentiate yourself, and get people into that initial lead magnet ASAP.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we also mentioned obviously to kind of add in the description, kind of a call to action. What's your group all about? I mean, that's important. I think I've seen some people also have the cover image. I'm sure you're using that when you're promoting a specific offer. That could be pretty useful, I guess, because that's what people see front and center when they get into your group. So if you're promoting a workshop, you can mention that or have that there. I've seen a lot of people do that. What else comes to mind? I think we talked about kind of obviously the consistent schedule, so you don't only kind of post your lead magnets, but you have this kind of mix of things so people kind of know what to expect, right, on a consistent basis. And what would you say, like going back to this kind of dead group thing a little bit, what do you say is a good way to kind of just kind of ask so you see if people are even in there active, right? So they actually get back. Should that be just to kind of, hey, are you in there? Or like ask a question and then get them onto your lead magnet, or do a bait post? I think a bait post, I could see that working pretty well.
Bait
I don't know
post is
if
a
you have
good
any other
one.
tips.
Kind of wakes the audience back up. Like you can say like, hey, you know, I've been busy working on some stuff, but I really want to support you guys. And we've got some, you know, amazing stuff coming up soon. Do me a favor and leave a comment. What topic do you guys want to hear about most? Like A, B, or C? And then give them, you know, stuff you know that they're interested in. And then they're going to leave a comment and vote and that kind of thing. And the thing is, you have to follow up and deliver that. So a lot of people, they let groups die because they're not showing up as much. And then they want to revive the group. They make an effort. They start putting some content together, and then it just dips again. So it's all about that follow through, and just polling, listening, and showing up for your people. Using less links, less you know, sharing from other places, and putting a lot more native content and engaging discussion in the group. Then you'll be good to go.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's kind of what I see a lot of places. They're not really doing this. But is there a way to automate? I mean, I know in kind of on your pages you can kind of automate with bots some delivery. I don't think there's a way right now in groups to automate delivery of, let's say you have this bait post and they comment, yes, I want this. You cannot really automate this anymore. You have to go in there and manually to actually say, hey, you know, post a link there or something like this. Is that kind of how it still is? You have to kind of post that manually in the group?
Yeah, so usually end up responding to these things manually, but that is a potential software add-on we could do. You know, we have the group funnel software to grab those emails and questions, but there's a lot of different little features that could become software. So who knows? Keep an eye out. We might come up with something cool there.
That's a hint. I think that's a little hint for you guys, because I mean, as Arne showed kind of in this little walkthrough, basically the group funnel software is so cool. So when you basically enter your email when in these questions, you can actually, you know, collect that in ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, and then I think you might even send out a welcome email. Is that kind of what you usually do when they opt in there? So you just instantly get the welcome and kind of gets them into your funnel. Is that kind of usually what you do?
Yeah, so basically group funnels goes on the 3 welcome questions, and then you ask for their email. And then as soon as you hit approve and grab that data, that goes into a Google Sheet. Now that Google Sheet is tied into Zapier, and then Zapier is tied into your email service. So if your email service works with Zapier, group funnels works with your email service. So it's really cool because as you do that, it automatically throws all those people into your list. And within, you know, 5 minutes of them being approved, they're already getting their welcome emails. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, I mean, if you want to check it out, I'll put a link below as well, and navid.me/group funnels. You can check it out there. Highly recommend it if you're gonna do anything with Facebook groups. It's kind of untapped. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting all your efforts, basically. I mean, you heard here, kind of, you can grow it on autopilot because anyone who gets into your group, they need to reply or respond to these questions, and then they go into your email service via, you can have this Google Sheet and Zapier, and that's kind of how it works. It can be all automated. Even the custom, kind of the other questions, not just the email, goes in there as custom fields, right? Is that usually what you do? Like if you ask, what's your single biggest struggle when it comes to this? That is stored in your ConvertKit or Active campaign, right?
Not sure if it goes into the ConvertKit or the Active campaign, but definitely in the Google Sheet. So
Google Sheet.
one other cool thing we did was we discovered that you can set up your group funnel sheet there as a CRM. So you have, question 1, answer 1, question 2, answer 2, question 3, answer 3, which is the email. But your other 2 questions up there can be really good for qualifying your audience. So if you say something like, hey, what's your current income range from coaching? And somebody says, $50K a month or something like that. And you're like, okay, cool. This guy's doing really good. We should pay attention to him. We should, specifically follow up with him if we want to work with, somebody who's making $50K a month. Or if you have other qualifying things like, whatever you want to ask your audience to get a sense for where they're at. Like our questions for that newer group is, do you have a Facebook group right now? If so, what's the name and how many members you got? And then what's your average monthly combined income from coaching and courses? So those are the 2 kind of like biggest things we want to ask them. And then from there, in that Google Sheet, we can kind of like put a little marker and we can sort people by those categories and see where they're at.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think there might even be, if you're getting the email into this is maybe something you can do for a future update as well. Get even the other questions in there. I think it's, if you are grabbing already the email, I think it should be possible to grab the other ones as custom field potentially.
Totally.
It's just kind of from what I use with some other software, it's just grabbing this and just adding it in. That could be also pretty cool, but at least you're getting this. It's so important, the information, right? I mean, kind of, you might have heard about asking, what's your single biggest struggle when it comes to this? And initially, when they get into your group, you're already getting all this data for free.
Yeah,
right?
it's great.
Amazing. So, this has been great. I've been getting some ideas. I know exactly what I'm going to do actually to kind of get my group going. I'm not going to start a new one. I'm going to actually get the other one going, change the name, and then basically do kind of a little bait post to start it off with a great lead magnet, and then, get it going from there and use it for summits and other stuff. And I'm sure if you're watching, listening to this, you've gotten a ton of tips. We're going to put some resources below. But do you have any final words as we wrap this up, Arne, that you want to share with everyone here?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing you guys heard from me throughout this is about creating the experience. So when you're putting out content in your group or your email list, it's about the experience and making people want to be there. And think about the experiences you've had, good and bad, with other groups or email lists. Like if you're constantly getting spammed, if you're constantly getting bombarded with one type of content, if you are just not finding any of it relevant, then you're going to tune out and you're going to look towards the other stuff. You're going to unsubscribe. You're going to leave the group. You're going to not engage. And the same goes on the opposite. You got to think about how you can create that environment to be valuable, fun, and give people opportunities to grow and connect with other people through your group, and really enjoy being on your email list as well. That was, I think, one of the bigger shifts I made with my email marketing, because my list is about 25K, and I hired an email marketer to help me implement a lot of stuff. And the first thing they did was clean it up. And they also said, okay, how do we want to make this a better experience for the people on the list, not just popping up to do your launches or promotions and stuff like that. And since we did that, we were able to make the stats go way up across the board. So always think about the experience you're providing people, and stay consistent, and then you guys will be good to go. So go grow your groups, grow your lists, and you guys will be off to a great start.
Amazing. And where can people, other than group funnels, where is the best place to connect more with you, Arne?
Best place is definitely going to be the coaches and course creators Tribe Building and Marketing Secrets group. That is our little hangout with the new group, and I've got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. Interviews, posts, case studies. We really try to stack it, like I said, value first, give you guys a great experience. So go ahead and head on over to that group. You can find it at bit.ly/CCC Tribe, and we'll love to see you over there.
Awesome. And yeah, I'll put a link to group funnels as well and the resources we discussed below the video. Leave it your biggest takeaway as well for this session. Is there anything, I mean, sure, some of this might be new to you because you haven't maybe implemented some of this. Maybe some was just an aha moment for you. Leave it below. We will connect there with you as well. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.